Richard, thanks very much for your time.
My pleasure.
Is your first time to Perth?
Yes, I have to. In a word, yes.
Yeah.
Not my first time to Australia, but first time this far west, for sure.
And now, for fans of Richard Dean Anderson, it's either MacGyver or Lieutenant General Jack O'Neill, as I think you aspired.
General.
It was.
General. Was he some kind of a general?
Yeah, a high-ranking official in the American
too
military.
high for reality.
Yeah. Which character is more you?
Wow. Well, as far as cosmetically, I'm obviously more of a MacGyver guy. But as far as the mindset and maybe the attitude and I guess the relative sense of humor that O'Neill had, I'm certainly more him than not.
Is it true that when you were approached to do the role of Jack O'Neill, you said, "Yeah, I've watched the movie, great potential, but I want to give Jack a bit of comedy, a bit of sense of humour"?
It took me a little longer to break it to them that I wasn't going to be able to do Kurt Russell impersonation. I knew going in there's no way I could make my hair do what his did. And certainly he was a little too strict, or straight, I guess is the word. Because in a series, you've got over a long period of time, you've got to have some semblance of fun, or a sense of fun at least. And that's what I asked them to trust me when they asked me to do the role. I said, you've got to trust that I'll bring a quality that'll be lighter, certainly, not disrespectful, but maybe a little funner, for lack of a better word. And everybody's, oh yeah, sure, no problem, oh, sure, yeah, babe. So we get on set, and after the first week of dailies sent down to Los Angeles from Vancouver, I got the call and said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Well, I asked you. I said you got to trust me. I think it'll work." And of course, I hang up and I go, "Oh, please let it work. Don't try so hard." But sure enough, we get to the premiere. We had all the studio heads come up to Vancouver, and we rented out a theater and showed it. All the laughs were in exactly the right place. The action sequences were not undermined by anything that I was doing with the character. So it was, it ebbed and flowed as far as the relative seriousness of the situations that we were doing on camera, but also the character was light enough, and they saw. Well, anyway, long story short, the head of the department of MGM came up and just said, "All right, I get it now. Okay, have at it."
And how important the comedy and that blend of that new Jack O'Neill as opposed to the movie, which was a success by itself and still stands alone by itself. Right. How important was the newish cast that came along, the Teal'c, Amanda Tapping, Daniel Jackson. How important was it to get those characters spot on?
Well, it was pretty imperative that we have a good ensemble, and I think well, I don't know about that, because I was around for the final screen test for Chris Judge and for Amanda, and I'm not sure, maybe Daniel was there too. They all came down to Los Angeles, and I finally met them and watched the final auditions, and it was obvious that, what casting they had done was spot on. We couldn't have done better with Michael Shanks. He just nailed every element of that, certainly of what what's his name, the actor who played him in the movie,
Spader.
James
James
Spader,
Spader,
yeah,
yeah.
brilliant actor. But he had brought along the elements of Spader, but God had made it his own soon in. And when and Amanda, of course, was just ate us alive and spit us out. Said, I'm going to do this role. And then of course Chris Judge walks in, and he's just, you met him in person?
No.
He's just the largest human being you'll ever meet. And he walked out, and I swear he had to be at his height of bodybuilding or whatever he was doing, because he was just buffed and maintained it pretty good throughout the show. But he walked on stage, and I remember looking at him, and the only thing I could say to him was, "Don't you work out? Don't you care? What's wrong with you? Respect your health." My God. And he was a shoo-in as well. He just had it. So it was really, I don't know how long the process went on, but it was quite easy. And of course now, in retrospect, they were all perfect for the role, but they all, made it their own throughout the years.
With these sort of, Comic-Con and the fans getting up close to you, do they accept that you're not really Jack O'Neill, or are they just totally transfixed by the fact that is the man sitting in front of me? Granted, hair's a bit longer. That's Jack.
I think for the most part, they've got reality in check here. It's not too far-fetched. There might be a younger member who's caught MacGyver on the fourth time around or something like that, that is in awe of the whole, can't really differentiate. But no, the fans that my fans seem to really have it all going for them. Certainly when I'm meeting them, there's just an open friendliness from everybody.
You've had a fairly blessed career.
Tell me about it.
But it seems, even with the fact that you were the main role for Stargate, but you saw the importance of having a good cast around you.
Yep.
From what I've read, I can't find anything negative about you as ego. It's like Richard Dean Anderson orders an entire restaurant to leave because he wants to eat alone. It's not there. Is it? You play a warrior with a heart in Stargate. Is your passion for the things that are outside your working life, so your charities, things like the Sea Shepherd Foundation, working with disadvantaged children, the Special Olympics, those sort of things, is that what keeps you really grounded from the glitz and the glamour?
Well, not consciously. These are things that I do because, for one reason, I can, and I guess looking upon the career, my career as it. Quiet. As my career continues, I find that I've garnered enough attention as an actor and the characters that I've portrayed over the years that with that popularity and recognizability, comes a certain strength or power to basically just get attention, and be able to say something, hopefully responsibly, to help any one of a given cause out. Now I've had to narrow down my focus to a couple, just because I was diffusing myself. My credibility was starting to waver a little bit when I take on anybody that would ask, but since I focused it down now, I've been able to do a lot more for Sea Shepherd Conservation Society especially. And I was finding at one point that many of the things I was attaching myself to had a lot to do with water. So I was the Riverkeeper Alliance and Sea Shepherd for a long time were the two that I was focused on. I've since added my business manager's wife has they're dear friends, and In fact, they're both godparents to my daughter. But Judy has contracted brain cancer some years ago. And over the years that we've gotten to know each other, we've got very close and intimate. And so going through a lot of her, that experience with her, I've watched her develop this organization called Art of the Brain, artofthebrain.com. And it's all, everything that she does now is and that I do for her has to do with raising funds to help the research, mostly at UCLA, to just beat it. It's we all know cancer sucks in a big way, but watching someone with brain cancer slowly wither and disappear on us, it's really hard. So anyway, that's another one of the causes that I've taken on to my heart.
With the Sea Shepherd Foundation, will you be meeting with any of the representatives from Sea Shepherd while you're in Perth?
Possibly. I couldn't say for sure right now, but certainly we won't be meeting with Paul Watson. He's persona non grata. Is that the term? He's not running from the law. He's kind of probably floating from the law somewhere. But yeah, I mean, anytime we go to any, especially port cities. But I remember there was. We met somebody in Paris recently that was the head of the contingent there, and just about anywhere we go now, there's a kind of a hub, or at least an office for the Sea Shepherd, and it can be very humbling sometimes because it's an all-volunteer organization. So we need to almost constantly be trying to raise funds, especially with the kind of trouble we seem to attract from the Japanese. Not to mention names, but the Japanese.
Well, this is where you are now. You're in Perth, Western Australia. You've got that celebrated career. You've created two icons of TV, MacGyver and Jack O'Neill. Do you now look back at that 13-year-old kid, the bad luck of breaking the arms and not pursuing the ice hockey career, and think, it's probably a good thing?
Oh, yeah. Soon after, or not so soon, but yeah, it's definitely a good thing. Because, for one thing, looking back, for as much as I really had the fantasy of being a real professional ice hockey player, I knew I wasn't. Eventually, I realized I wasn't any good. Not any good, but just not good enough to make it in the pros. Knowing what kind of kids are playing it now, and watching the strength and the speed that they harbor is just awe-inspiring. And there's no way I could have done that at all. I fancy myself a grinder, but oh man, they're too tough for me now, for sure. I'm a huge fan.
Have you forgiven the Minnesota North Stars?
Yeah, I've had to find it in my heart to forgive. Green was the last name, the owner that took the team from Calgary to Minnesota to Dallas, and I kind of lost my affection for it. I'm now a fan of the Wild, of course, and do what I can to help them out.
Another one of your causes.
Although, I'm wearing a lot of LA T-shirts these days, because that's been a hard road for us there in that town. So that became my team when I moved here, and it was just brutal watching year after year not even getting close, and then one year getting it close and losing to Montreal, and tearing our hair out. The last season it all came together. God, am I happy.
Richie, thanks very much. I mean, I'd love to talk about your juggling, but I'm going to wrap up.
Juggling?
Well, look, I'll wrap it there, but thanks very much for your time. If I can get you to just show me a couple of juggling tricks, I'd be very happy.
I can't, do you juggle?
No, I don't. I can juggle 3 for a little while.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's all you got to do is practice that forever. You're still rolling, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Just practice 3 forever until you get comfortable doing that. You can blink your eyes and look someplace else and peripherally juggle and do all that. And then you start doing tricks, you know. But you know, other than that, just keep the patterns going.
The rhythm.
Yeah, mix up the, you know, the cross rhythms, the cascade as it's called, and then you start fooling around.
No, brilliant. Thanks, mate.
Yeah, anytime.